Talk about one-day feathers, next-day chicken. Round 1 at Daytona saw the 3-time and defending AMA Pro National Guard SuperBike champion score a measly 9 points.
Well, I think Josh Hayes got a problem.
He's pulling it up and is parking it.
But when your name is Josh Hayes, you just pick yourself up, dust yourself off, and start all over again.
Josh Hayes needs to start making it count, and he needs to start doing it now.
In those 2 races at Road America, Hayes posted 62 points, clawing his way from 18th to 4th in the championship battle by dint of a brilliant display of skill, determination, and daring do.
And he'll love that checkered flag, which tells him he's won 2 out of 2 here.
Yet this wily veteran knows better than to count those chickens before they're hatched. He need only look around to see the threat. Especially in the form of a young charger from Colombia, one Martin Cardenas. The current points leader already has a Superbike win from Daytona and was only 0.8 of a second behind Hayes at Road America for race 2. Clearly, he is on the hunt.
Last race in Road America, I was close, and actually second day a little bit closer, and that give us or encourage us for the rest of the season.
Martin still continues to develop as a rider, as a Superbike rider, and I think he's done a great job so far this year, getting a win in a couple of seconds already.
I think on the 1000, I'm still not very confident at the beginning of the first few laps, so I think I'm missing a little bit on that, and also in some other areas, but I think mainly on that one. So I think it will improve. What really pushes me is that I like to win. So every time that I go on the bike, I try my hardest, and I'm always trying to win.
Cardenas has won in sport bikes and in superbikes here at Barber, but now he has to do it while it matters to hold on to his slender lead. Welcome everyone to one of the most beautiful settings for motorsport in all of the world, Barber Motorsports Park just outside Birmingham, Alabama. Hi everyone, I'm Jonathan Green, without doubt in the best seat in the house here at Barber Motorsports Park, and along with former world champion Scott Russell and Danielle Teal, we'll be bringing you our CBS coverage of round 3 and race 1 of the Superbike Championship. Let's head down now, as the race is not far away, to Scott Russell.
Josh, last year you had a great run here. It looked like you really had something for your teammate. A couple mistakes. How are you looking for this year in the race?
Hopefully it's a little bit better. We had a bad weekend altogether, and came through a little bit right in final qualifying last couple minutes, and it seems like we got a good setup, so I'm just going to try and clinch onto him and see how long we can last, and try and hold on for the win at the end, maybe. See.
Hi, I got to ask you about how that arm, you had surgery on your arm. I want to know how that's doing now, and is it going to bother you throughout the race, do you think?
Yeah, they told me it was a 50-50 chance, that it was going to be successful, and it seemed like it was at first, but so far it's not helping, Road America, and here it's coming back, so we're just trying to do as many things as we can and prepare to, try and keep it away, but, there's a chance we might get it, so.
Okay, great. Danielle, over to you.
With the number 54, Roger Hayden finally broke into the 25s in final qualifying. Roger, did you guys make an adjustment to the bike, and is it going to stand in the race here today?
The bike's really working good this weekend. I got to thank the whole National Guard, Michael Jordan Motorsports crew. We unloaded out of the truck and was fast right away. First practice, and I think we got a good race time. We did the exact same time just about yesterday morning, and we've backed them up with a few laps. So, I feel like we have a pace. We got to get a good start. It's not going to be easy. It's hot out here. It's a pretty tough track, but, I'm ready. Been drinking plenty of Gatorade, and, looking forward to a good race.
Number 54, Roger Hayden.
Well, it must be a record what Earl and Rose Hayden have produced. Roger Hayden, Tommy Hayden, and of course, world champion Nicky Hayden. Talking of records, here at Barber, the best qualifier. Matt Mladen, a 1:23.6 in 2008. Race time, 30 minutes 25, 21 laps by Josh Hayes in 2012. Will he do the same in 2013? Well, it's hot here in Alabama. We're about to sizzle with the sound of superbikes. After this, on CBS.
AMA Pro Superbike on CBS Sports Network is brought to you by 1-800-MOTORCYCLE. The lawyers at 1-800-MOTORCYCLE remind you to ride safe tonight. 1-800-MOTORCYCLE. Lawyers helping injured riders. Call or click anytime for a free consultation. By Yamaha. Yamaha is the first name in motorsports. And by True Value. For tools, products, and expert advice for all your project needs. True Value. Start right, start here.
Welcome back to Barber, where the stage is set. And as it stands at the moment, only a couple of rounds gone, but there's plenty of racing to come, and this is really the calm before the storm here. It seems somewhat serene at the moment, but like I said earlier, it's about to sizzle into action. As it stands, Martin Cardenas has 105 points. Josh Herron, 13 behind. Important day for young Josh. Larry Pegram trying to hold on to that third place, because fourth place is that man on the move from 18th to fourth place last time out at Road America. Right here where he needs to be on the pole again today. Roger Hayden, could he be the man? Could he be the factor that no one had thought of going into this one? He's in 6th at the moment. This time last year, Josh, well, they say, talk about hot footing. How about this? Foot off the pegs for Josh Herron, because it was just too hot. Look at him having to cool down his feet after the race. Too hot to handle. It could be the same this year. Now, if you want to succeed, you need to get noticed. Showcase your talents, put yourself in the shop window. Well, that's exactly what Corey West, our next moto champion, has done.
After last season was over, I didn't really have much of a plan. I knew that I wouldn't be back on board with my team from that season. I asked Eric Buell if I could maybe have a job up there in Wisconsin. I worked there for a couple months, and then, they just saw me kind of sitting around and started asking, what are you doing next year? And, I didn't have an answer, and they said, well, would you be interested in going and riding the bike down at Homestead for us? Just do a little testing with us. And of course, I jumped at that opportunity, and as soon as I had that opportunity to ride the bike, I made the best of it. So now I've got this ride on their bikes from last year with the RS Racecraft guys, and I got motorsport.com on board, and it's just turned into a really good deal. And now here I am in Superbike, and couldn't be happier. I've learned that if you want something bad enough, you got to go out and get it. Not everybody's going to come knocking on your door and just ask you, hey, do you want to ride this $40,000 machine? So if you have opportunities or you have goals in mind, that you have to go out and go for it.
Corey West just may be the next Moto champion. Talking of champions, I've got one sitting alongside me, both AMA and World champion. Scott Russell, what are the keys to the race?
Well, Hayes is hot. Who's going to cool him off out here? That's one of the big questions right there. And then brains, not brawn. This is a track you can make big mistakes if you try too hard. And then survival of the fittest. Who's the fittest? Who can deal with the heat? This is a physical racetrack on the 1,000. We're going to find out who that guy is soon.
It's a beautiful day here at Barber Motorsport. Race 1 of the Superbikes coming up. The boys are ready. That is the boys of summer. We'll be right back here on CBS after this. Welcome back to the AMA Pro Superbike, and here is your grid. Josh Hayes on the pole, Danny Eslick on the second row, Larry Pegram just behind him, Jeff May, Taylor Knapp further down, Dustin Domingos. Will he get a finish for EBR? That's what he hopes for this weekend. Corey West, Ulrich in 18th position, Danny Kelsey further down. Had a quick chat with him. Looking forward to this race. Johnny Rock Page Now, what about this track? We keep talking about how technical it is, but Scott Russell, you know it better than anyone.
Well, I think technical is a great word for it, and physical is maybe even a better word for it, especially in the heat out here. These riders are going to be running 150 miles an hour as they reach. And then down here in this back straightaway, this is such a physical racetrack with high speed left and right. It's going to really put the riders to the test today.
Fascinating for Superbike Race 1. I just want to see what Roger Hayden, who we spoke to on the 54 in the middle of your shot, can do today. Can anyone stop Josh Hayes? He's on the pole, and away they go. Oh, a false start there from several riders, not expecting the start. But that was a strange getaway, one of the strangest I've seen.
It must have been a glitch in the lighting system. So a couple of riders, Hayden and Hayes took off. The rest of the field kind of sat there. We'll see if they're try to restart this or let it run.
Well, if they do let it run, that's a great advantage for those who did get away for sure. And everyone cleanly through.
Hayes made a huge mistake right there. He ran wide. He's back in fourth spot now.
Well, let's have a look at that start again, Scott, because that was the most bizarre thing I've seen.
Well, we can't see the lights from here right now, right? So the two on the right decided they were going to go for some reason, and then everybody followed suit after that. Definitely a glitch with the lighting system, obviously.
Well, let's see if there's a jump start involved in that. We'll soon find out, but not a good start. A little bit rattled then by Josh Hayes at the start of this one because the pressure is on. And while everybody says that Josh Hayes is the man of the moment, he's fourth in the championship flying through. The trouble is, he's got to keep winning if he's going to get on top because Cardenas is still a long way ahead.
Well, then he just kind of keeps doing what he's doing because he's accustomed to winning. He's done it the last 4 years now, or 3 years, and 2 wins at the last round. So he's got that figured out.
Let's go down to Danielle Thiel. She's down in the pits.
After talking to an AMA official, they are assessing the start situation. They're going to look over the lighting and the start and discuss it and come up with a conclusion from there.
Well, I'll tell you what, thanks, Danielle. That's critical. It could be critical for the whole season because we both know who was involved in that. It was the two leading guys. Roger Hayden, though, out front on the 54.
I don't know how long it's been since you've seen Josh Hayes running in fourth spot, but a bit of a mistake in turn 2 on lap 1. Relegated into that spot right now, and he's got his teammate, number 2, in front. And a couple of Suzukis up there, too. They're going to try to get by.
Well, we saw great action from Road America that Hayden had his tail up there, and we spoke to him afterwards. Really enjoyed the weekend, but he wants to be further up, and that's where he is now as Martin Cardenas goes through and into the lead. Nicely done. So through he goes, and that's what he planned. We heard at the beginning of the show, he wants to keep winning. These two are going at it. Look at them side by side as they head towards the museum. They'll end up in the museum if they keep racing like this.
Hayden's fighting back right now. He's wanting to get another win at this racetrack. He knows how to get that done. It's happened a while back. Now the two Yamahas are really close up on the Suzuki. Josh Hayes is super close. The gap really up tight now. And Cardenas is going to look again down the end of this back straightaway. It's 145 miles an hour as they look down into this hole.
Yeah, he got some good drive, but then got a wiggle on, and that just slowed him down, and that's why he has to stay there. But like you say, Hayes is coming and coming fast. There's so many laps to go yet. Only 2 of 21, and this is a doozy so far.
Look at this real wide corner. You can see a lot of different lines run by. Hayden runs out wide, tends to square it up. The other riders decide to go low. And number 2, Josh Herring, is right there on the 36. He wants to way by. He needs a race to win bad.
Well, we've been talking about history all weekend long, and of course, Cardenas got his first Superbike win against Roger Hayden here just a couple of years ago. Can he do it, and can history repeat itself?
And here comes Hayes for sure. He's right on the wheel of his teammate as they swing through turn 2. Down in this dip right here, they're going to top out. And as they get to the end of this straightaway right here, they're going to be about 145 miles an hour when they reach for the brake lever, and they go over this hill. Totally blind until you get about right here, and then you can pick up the apex.
Number 1 goes past number 2. See ya, Timmy.
He made that look pretty easy.
Yeah, Josh Hayes, though, now knows he's got to focus on these two. Look at him, the little wheelie tells you it all. Cardenas gets a wiggle on as they go down that back straight into the right-hander towards the museum again.
It's a pretty much must-win for Hayes, this kind of deal. He's got to pretty much win all the races. Hope these other guys have a little bit of bad luck. Actually, you know, he's gonna push hard as he can and try to win every race from here on out.
Well, that's what I say. It's so critical because he just can't make mistakes, and he isn't doing many, and he's not known for that. But it really is critical here in 2013. Let's take a look at how he did it.
Well, he kind of swings over the back of the hill. He gets the draft. He's got the preferred line down the inside. Super wide racetrack right here. You just kind of got to get up beside the next rider, and he makes that look easy.
So past Josh Herring and into 3rd position now. Hayden leading from Cardenas and Herring, then from Hayes, and then Herring, and then Pegram.
Big dive. That was a big move down into the last corner to take the 2nd spot away. from Martin Cardenas. He swung around the outside of him in 13 and dove down the inside in 14. Perfect move. He's not wasting any time now. Roger Hayden's the next guy on his list.
That's worth another look.
Here we go. You can see him. He's out wide. Cardenas just sets up really wide, tries to get a good drive out of the corner, but in doing that, you leave the door open, and Hayes said, hey, I'm going to walk right through here.
I got to say, that was a bit of a big mistake there because you don't give Hayes that much room. The door was way open. It was like a bomb.
Martin will note that down now, and he'll say, I can't do that again. Look, he follows Hayes right up by the grass. Look how tight the exit of Charlotte's Web. Nobody's running that tight. Josh and I talked about it before the race. He's changed his line, changed his kind of attitude about this track. I think, and what he's gone with a softer compound on the tires. So he's got a soft and a medium compound. It's a triple compound, soft on the right and left, medium in the middle. So he's got to kind of conserve that tire. And that's how he's doing that, by getting it up in the middle of the tire.
And I just want to put you in Hayes' helmet. How is it how you approach different riders? Because Hayden's a different kettle of fish, as we say in the UK, than Cardenas, because Hayden gets his elbows out. He's from that Hayden dynasty, if you like, of motorcycle racing. And he's not going to let Hayes pass easily.
Yeah, I'll tell you right now, a name on the back of the letters doesn't scare the number one. It don't matter who it is. He's going to go by you. He's slicing through these guys like melted butter so far. But the 54 is kind of putting up a bit of a fight. But I think it's just a matter of time right now. Hayes is just, he's so confident with that motorcycle that he can put it pretty much anywhere he wants on track.
I've been impressed by Hayden all weekend. He's been top of the times. He was top 3 from Friday onwards, and he's showing it again, leading the race.
Well, the Suzuki team over there, the Jordan team, they've really come along, and they found some more horsepower in that motorcycle. And Roger's putting it down on the hot pavement out here in Birmingham right now, but here comes the one.
Yeah, he's coming fast, Josh Hayes, and when's he going to make his move? And he's doing it now. And that was nicely done again. Just needs to hold it tight, and he's been doing that for the last few laps. And so finally, Josh Hayes, normal service resumed, is at the front.
Well, the Suzuki runs quick. You can see it right there. He stayed right with the Yamaha right there. You can see Roger just a little bit wide as they turned in, and that cost him a bike link. Those are the kind of little mistakes that are going to cost you over a race. Just, again, he sets him up in the same spot, over the hill, down the inside. Roger chooses to set up really wide instead of running a defensive line and maybe try to block that. But it was pretty much inevitable. It was coming.
Now, how can Roger, why does Roger take that wider line and Josh is able to turn it in so tight?
We'll have to ask Roger, because I can't figure it out. You know, it's one of those corners where I think it's better to go in tight, like Hayes is somewhat. You slow the bike down, your mid-corner speed's slower, but you get the thing upright and exit tight as well, and that's exactly what he's doing. Now, maybe he's out front, these other riders will learn from what he's doing.
Well, like I said, 2 barn door passes for Hayes, and he doesn't need a second invitation as he flies down the straight again, in the lead now with 6 laps gone. Hayden does a 126.1 and a 25.8 that time by Josh Hayes. He is flying and sizzling here at Barber. We'll take a short break here on CBS. We'll be right back. Welcome back to AMA Pro Superbike Racing Race 1, and this was the overtake coming into Charlotte's Web, and it's that man, number 1, Spider-Man himself, taking over from Roger Hayden, who left the door open, to be fair. Welcome back to Barber, and you join us for the National Guard SuperBike Triumph SuperBike Classic, presented by Yamaha. And Josh Hayes doing the business as we know him to do.
And he's gapped him. Since we've gone to break and come back, the gap has grown just a little bit, but that's all it takes. There's just a little bit of gap. He'll read his pit board, and he'll know now, drop the hammer, and then that may be the last they see him. But Roger Hayden, I think, has done a great job of keeping him in sight right now. Let's just see if he can fight back and get back up on the wheel of the one.
Let's head down to the pits with Danielle Teal.
Jim Roach, the number 1 of Josh Hayes. Jim, how rewarding is it to be able to put your bike back where you know it belongs?
Well, that's what we're working hard at. It's going to be a tough race here for this weekend. It always is. So right now it feels pretty good. We'll sort stuff out in a little bit.
Jim Roach, crew chief to the number 1 of Josh Hayes.
Well, definitely all smiles at the moment down there, and well, it should be. I'm still concerned about that jump start, but obviously nothing's happened yet, and we'd have known by now. Wait a minute. Having said that, a 5-second penalty jump start for number 1, 54, 72, and 18 has just come across my screen, and that changes everything, Scott Russell.
That's Josh Hayes, that's Roger Hayden, that's Larry Pagram, and that's Chris Ulrich that all have penalties now.
Those smiles will be wiped off the faces of those men right now, because that is probably one of the biggest stories of the year.
And now this is probably something Martin does not realize, but he's actually leading the race right now. So he needs to keep his head cool right now. Right now, the way things are going, the two guys got about a 2.5-second gap, I think.
Now they're going to extend it to 6.
They got to break it on out. So maybe the pit board will be telling Josh Hayes that. It's kind of hard to relay a message like that to a guy like that. Or they'll just 5-second back pit board and maybe he'll get it and wick it up.
So what we're showing you obviously is the leader of the race, but they've both got 5-second penalties, the leaders. And that means that really officially, Martin Cardenas leads this race. And now the race is on between these two to really push on. And I think we have to go back to the start and really analyze this a little bit, because this is where the race can be lost.
Well, I mean, we can't see the light. So initially I thought obviously there's a glitch. You don't just see 2 guys jump typically, and even 3 in there. So now, obviously there wasn't a problem with the light, and these riders have all got 5-second jump start penalties.
Let's have another look.
Which is pretty nice from the AMA, I think. 5 seconds. Could have been worse, could have been a drive-through. Now from that view,
you see the lights go
out.
out.
It didn't really look like they left. It didn't look like they left early.
Ooh, this is going to rumble on, I think. Anyway.
Yes.
Meanwhile, Josh is doing what only he can do now, which is push as hard as he can. Same way for Roger Hayden. Don't forget, he's looking for points too, and he's in the same boat.
Oh, they're stretching it out on Cardenas right now. No problem. These two are in a class of their own today. Roger's done a great job to claw back a little bit of that ground he lost on the one. All it takes is a little bit of a mistake in one corner and Hayes will gap you. But Roger's found a way to kind of fight back and stay close.
So then, Cardenas leads his last lap, a 126.6. Hayes in second place and Roger Hayden in third. Josh Herron is in 4th position. Fillmore up to 5th. Jeff May 6th place, and that's a good run by him. Just ahead of Larry Pegram in 7th. Wow. And look at Anthony in 8th position. You know, his best ever finish in Superbikes is a 7th. He's on the cusp.
Okay, he's doing a great job out there right now. He's at a couple of seconds behind Larry Pegram. But Josh Hayes, that time by, just set the fastest lap. So obviously, they've let him know where he's at in that issue, and now he's pulled the pin.
Let's just go over this again. 5-second penalty for a jump start. You saw it yourself. Josh Hayes, Roger Hayden, Larry Pegram, and Chris Ulrich and Huntley Nash all involved in that. But the race isn't decided by that, because obviously Hayes is pushing on. Now those faces aren't smiling, and they can see, you can see the concern now. Hayes just basically has to keep pushing.
I think it's more serious. I mean, you know, now you got Cardenas back there, just kind of watching this battle unfold. I don't know that he doesn't have the pace to run with these two so far. So the question is, how big will this gap grow? And it looks like it's pretty big right now with really half the race left. So if they can continue at the pace they're going, they'll easily make that 5 seconds back up.
So Martin Cardenas is in 3rd place on the road, but is leading this race. And how confusing it is for a rider. This has happened to you, Scott. I remember a race happening in World Superbikes. Now, you've really got to have your wits about you to think, right, how do I play this? Because you're going at 130 miles an hour. You don't need to be thinking about the start, the finish, and where you are on, you know, timing.
Yeah, I know. I mean, right now, if he understands the situation, then he knows that I just got to keep these guys in sight pretty much, and I can win this thing. So it's easier said than done right now. So Martin's just trying to remain calm. Probably not think about that too much, because you don't want to get sidetracked. You want to stay focused on what you're doing. Try to keep that rhythm you got, hit those marks, don't make any mistakes, and just hope that you can keep those guys out front, in sight, and within that 5 seconds.
But in this game against Josh Hayes, you don't get many bits of luck, and this is one of them, and he's got to take it. Daytona was one, here's another opportunity, and he doesn't need to throw this away. So it's a double-edged sword.
It really is, and just got word that Hayes has already made that 5 seconds up, and now he's actually leading the race again. So here we go. With half the race to go still, Hayes has made that 5 seconds back up. Martin, all he can do now is pretty much bring it home in 3rd.
Wow, this is interesting. This is very, very interesting indeed. There is Josh Hayes.
Now he's still running in 2nd, but Hayden's so close to Hayes, I'm sure he'll pull him along, and it's just a matter of a second or so more, and then Roger will be moving back into that 2nd spot.
This is not what we expected, and certainly it can be very, very disconcerting to the riders. But like you say, there's no point in worrying about the yeses and the nos and who's right and who's wrong here. It's a case of just riding as hard as you can. Okay.
Yeah, exactly, and there's some good word to Josh Hayes. He's going to be happy to see that. And look at Hayden, man. He is really riding out of his skin today. He talking to his brother Tommy Hayden, who's here, he said Roger's really been training more than I've seen him in a long time. He's really worked hard, riding the dirt bike really well, and look, 54 is right there. I mean, it's rare you stay this close to the one.
Yep, met Daddy Earl for the first time. It was great to have a little moment with the king.
Oh, yeah, he's a great guy. He's a great guy to sit down and talk to if you ever get time. I recommend you do that. He's full of great stories.
So officially now, Hayes has got it back, but it's only 0.6 of a second, so this race is very much on. And, of course, Hayden under the same. Oh, look at Hayden.
I know he's so fast. Hayden is faster in this section of racetrack. Now, watch. I think this is where Josh Hayes shines. From this point around to the start-finish line, I think Josh is really strong, and it may be that the Yamaha changes direction a little bit better. I don't know. Let's see how this plays out through this section. Now, it looks to me like Hayes has chose the softer option tire of the two that they have option.
And okay, explain that again. And if I'm right in saying that obviously the softer one won't last as long as the medium one, presumably, and towards the end of the race, Hayes may not be able to put the lap times.
Well, what surprised me is that he said it in the press conference before the race. He pretty much told everybody what he was going to run, and now it looks like Roger Hayden's gone with the same choice. If he ran the medium compound, you will see a silver line drawn right around the edge, the sidewall of the rear tire. I don't see that on either one of these motorcycles, so that tells me they're on the softer, which means it's soft on the left side, soft on the right, and a medium compound in the middle.
Here's another battle. Larry Pegram in 7th place. He was also given that 5-second penalty for the jump start. He's in his own battle with David Anthony.
Chris Fillmore's got to be thrilled right here. Fillmore's having a great run right there on the KTM. He's looking to take over that spot. Well, he's in 5th now, according to the timing blitzes that were the jump starts that we had. So Fillmore runs in the 5th spot right now on that KTM.
Yeah, and they want that KTM on the podium before it's all done here, don't they?
And according to timing and scoring, Larry Pegram is running in the 7th spot. So it's kind of confusing, but stay with us on this. It'll earn itself out, and there he goes. Larry made a mistake, and Chris takes that spot pretty easy. Now the Yamaha's quick down the straight. That's one thing the KTM guys have got to work on. They got to get more speed out of that KTM. It looks to have great handling, but as I touched on at Elkhart Lake, when you got a slower motorcycle, they tend to handle pretty good, but this is a track that's suited for that bike.
Well, and as we heard in your interview with the KTM boss, you know, it's still a work in progress, whereas Larry Pegram's bike obviously is the complete machine.
It's been developed by the #1 guy for quite some time. Ben Spees also over in World Superbike. That's where that bike really came to life at. And now look at Roger Hayden. He is right there.
Oh, very close indeed now between Roger Hayden and Josh Hayes. The gap just 0.2, and really this is holding up nicely. This is the kind of racing we wanted to see from 2013. Josh Hayes has been immaculate so far, but he's under pressure. Definitely here from Roger Hayden. Matty, not that much pressure. If you land in the gravel here, you could be in trouble. We'll be right back after this. Defending champion Matt Mladen had his hands full back in 2004 at Birmingham. The 98 of Jake Zemke kept the pressure on the entire race, and with the slower bike who was just ahead of him, almost pulled it off. But Mladen added yet another trophy to his collection by just 100th of a second. In the second race, Mladen was off the pace, and this time it was Zemke who was the one being hunted. With just one lap remaining, the 17 of Miguel Duhamel, though, passed for the lead and the win. For poor old Zemke, it was a heartbreaking weekend. He lost both Superbike races by a combined time of less than half a second. Meanwhile, it's all about time here too, because the clock is ticking, quite literally. And Cardenas, who had led this race from 3rd place because of the 5-second penalty, is now 6 seconds behind the battle you're watching between the front two. And all they're concentrating on, that's Roger Hayden 54 and Josh Hayes leading the race, is being as fast as they can to stay ahead of that 5-second gap that they've got, or just over, on Cardenas. But meanwhile, battle each other. Look at Roger now.
Roger, he just overdid it right there, and he almost lost the front end in the middle of the corner. But he's pushing as hard as he can. He wants to try to stay with him, and he's done a great job. Run a great race. And it looked like Hayes in the middle of the race was just kind of lagging around, and then at the end pulls the trigger to see who could go with him. And 54 it, I'll go with you.
Well, you know what? Roger Hayden all weekend long has had an air of him about a man who so wants it this weekend. And I think that's because this track, this place, a place where he's comfortable and has won, and his brother Tommy has won. And I think this is just the kind of time that he thinks, well, there's not going to be too many tracks where I'm going to get a bite of Josh Hayes, and this is a chance to do it.
Well, it could be different, you know, because they have made some strides in forward progress with the Jordan bike. And they've got more horsepower, so when we get to the next track, it may be much the same, hopefully so. I mean, Josh Hayes is human, you know. It can all be beat, and it's just a matter of time before that gap, somebody's closed the gap on him, and it looks like we're seeing it right here.
4 to go. We were back in the museum earlier in the weekend looking at the first Jordan bike to come out in 2004, and now the 2013 version is doing the business here in second place, chasing down the current champion Josh Hayes. Time running out though with 3 to go, and well, Scott, it's hard to bet against Hayes doing anything wrong here, but Hayden is going to give it one last cast.
Well, you know, Rogers kept him honest all race long, so you know, Hayes, we've seen him make mistakes in the past. It's very rare, but it can happen. And Roger, you know, you got to be right there in case he does make a mistake. You got to be close enough to strike. But one guy who's not close enough, and that's the 2, and the teammate of Josh Hayes. And I got to believe he's falling back to a pretty distant 4th place. And that arm pump problem may be coming into play on that. We talked about that leading into the race.
Yeah, and what happens next? Does he have another operation and it's 50-50 again? Or it's just no, can you solve it?
I mean, I've experienced in the past here and there, and it's not a mental thing, but it's a physical thing. But sometimes you got to mentally slow down, try to find another way to ride the motorcycle, try to work through it, try to breathe through it, and that's part of it. I don't know that we're there yet, and that we don't know if that's really what's bothering Josh right today here.
Well, as we saw, Fillmore going past Larry Pegram in 5th place, and the KTM going strong here. But this is another masterclass at Barber, and we saw so many. Great, and that Pegram's got past him again, just as I say that. And Larry Pegram, though, fighting hard with 2 to go. And these two have been at it all race long, and now Fillmore's got to do it all again on the KTM.
Larry was one of the riders that the 5-second penalty was assessed to, and nevertheless, this is an outright race out here. Chris Fillmore on the 11 has really come alive here at Barber.
And remember, these points are important because Larry Pegman started the day with 75 points in 3rd place. Josh Hayes 71. Here's another good battle going on all the way to the end.
That's Corey West and Chris Ulrich right there. It looks like Corey West has gotten the better of Ulrich right now. We hadn't been following this battle right now, but here it is with 2 to go. When they come by, it'll be 1. So can Ulrich find a way back by Corey West right here? Corey, we saw that little piece on him leading into the race. I know, and yeah, I mean, it's a great ride. I've seen some great rides out of this guy.
Shows you just got to keep putting your head down, work hard, be in the right place at the right time, and that's exactly where he is right now, fighting hard in race 1. He is our next Moto champion, remember. So then, the battle continues. Roger Hayden in 2nd place. Can he dethrone the master, the maestro, the champion that is Josh Hayes here at Barber?
I gotta think Roger's just laughing in his helmet right now. He said, look at this, I've reeled in the Superbike champ, and now I got a real shot to win this thing. Watch him in turn 4 in Charlotte's Web. I gotta believe he might make a run at him.
Okay, let's see if he builds it up. And he's got a back marker as well in the way. Just gets out of the way. Yeah, look at him winding himself up through turn 2 and 3. Now he gets the power on. This is where it counts. Charlotte's Web coming up. Onto the straight they come. Hayden looking for his chance to get past Hayes. A little wiggle. This is it. Can't quite pull it off, but he's close.
You know, it's one of those deals right now. He's been running that outside line on the entrance, and Hayes has been blocking the inside. So if you go down in there, you got to go way down on the inside, and he's not going to go in there and take him out. And that's exactly what he saw. He said, you know, if the opportunity was there on the taking, it wasn't there. Maybe there's another one here in the next half a lap.
Here we go, past the museum, but is Roger Hayden going to make history?
It's so difficult to pass at this racetrack, especially in this section we're coming to. Nothing here. Then at the end of the straightaway, there's no way he's going to make a move on Josh Hayes. So that pretty much leaves it to the last corner. Will he dive down the inside?
Josh Hayes, though, no mirrors. He doesn't need them because he knows that Hayden's right there. Here we go, a classic finish here in race 1. The 2 of them out front. They've beaten Cardenas in terms of the 5-second penalty and the actual road race itself. But Hayden has stayed there.
Here it is. Here it is.
Got to look on the inside.
Down the inside.
He's going to look at it. Can't do it.
There.
Hayes is He's going to march on to yet another victory. From fourth, he's going to move up. But Hayden puts on an excellent job as well to take second place. But it's Josh Hayes who is once again king in Barber.
I think Roger just slid the tire, just spun the tire just a little bit on the edge of the 13 and didn't quite get that run down into that 14 that you need to make it stick and make it stick nicely, not take a guy out. So no point in that. Here you go.
Larry Pegrum's still holding on there. Chris Fillmore behind him as they come to the line. Larry Pegrum's going to hold on the Yamaha. Pegram takes 6.
Fillmore's got to be really happy. And I would think the whole KTM crew over there really got to be excited about their progress here. And really, what a great ride. And Larry, too. Larry's probably not going to be happy because he knows he's got a bike that's capable of a little bit more.
Well, I would say to Josh Hayes, just turn left now, go into the museum, park it up, and that's it. Done.
Pretty much. He'll be in there. It won't be long. He's probably already in there some way or another.
Let's head down to Danielle Teal.
Here with Jim Roach, crew chief to the #1, the winner here today. What a crazy developing race. What's the feeling after all of that up and down?
Well, the feeling's like you want to throw up. I mean, but I guess you need a race like that once in a while. There's some movement on the start, time penalty, but Josh was able to overcome it. And then a big battle from Roger, and Josh was able to hold on and race it out for the win. So it feels great, no matter how much your stomach might churn once in a while.
Congratulations to #1 for the win today.
Jim Roach can hardly feel sick after that. That was a brilliant. I think the emotions, though, just went right through the whole gamut. And I wonder what Josh Hayes has gone through, because he knew something was up at the beginning of that race, because everybody had a judgery start. He just went for it. And he may not have been aware just who was going what behind him. But yeah, that was definitely unsettling for any rider.
Yeah, it was. He drops back to 5th, works his way back to 1st, 5th on time. You didn't see it on track. But, Hayes has got to be the guy. He's just got to be consistent. He knows I need to win every time I go out on the racetrack. That's kind of how I need to do it. I need to get back in the points lead, before we get too far down the road in this series.
I'm just glad to see Roger Hayden, and I hope what you said is absolutely true, that now from track to track, from Mid-Ohio to Laguna Seca to wherever's next we go, that Roger Hayden can, and his team Jordan, can put it together and really start taking it to the champ, because we need more to take it to Josh Hayes. Well, once again, Barber has thrown up excellent racing throughout here. Beautiful day here. More racing to come, but it's that man, that face, who is dominating proceedings here at the park. It wasn't a walk in the park, but it was close. We'll be right back.
AMA Pro Superbike on CBS Sports Network is being brought to you by 1-800-MOTORCYCLE. The lawyers at 1-800-MOTORCYCLE remind you to ride safe tonight. 1-800-MOTORCYCLE. Lawyers helping injured riders. Call or click anytime for a free consultation. By Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on motorcycle insurance. Get a free rate quote today. And by Cox Racing Group Radiator Guard. Run what the pros run.
Well, the moment of the race has to be the start. Incredible. 5-second penalty. Fairly obviously, as the lights went out, you can see them jumping forward. Cardenas stopped quite rightly, and he therefore did not get the penalty.
Well, it was a difficult call. Obviously, it was really close right there from what I could see. So, nevertheless, Josh Hayes found his way back to the front. Well, and just led this race all the way home, just like he kind of used to doing.
Let's head down to Danielle Teal. She's down in the pit.
The #1, Josh Hayes, #1 here today. When you found out you had a 5-second penalty, what went through your head?
First off, Jonathan, quit yakking. It's hot out here. I knew something was coming. I didn't know what. The rules kind of changed a little bit in the past. Years ago, I jumped to start. I gave up a bunch of positions, and I didn't get a penalty. So that's what I did when I jumped this one. I went back several positions. I was behind Larry. I think I was in about 5th, and then just kind of started my race over at about lap 2 and started working my way through. And at that point, I was just racing against the clock. So it's a hard race when you're racing against the clock. It's not because you can hear somebody on your back wheel. you just see a +0 on your board and you're just trying real hard. And quite honestly, I didn't know how close Roger was until the race was over. So it was a great day. The Yamaha, Monster Energy Graves Yamaha, it's the bike to be on, and I feel lucky I have it this weekend.
You did manage, even with that 5-second penalty, to shave off your time in just a matter of a couple laps. How did you do that?
You know, we've been working really hard this weekend. This weekend's been a tough one for me, and, you know, it started off a little rough, I thought, but, you know, the boys came up with some magic in that machine, and it definitely helped me get up there where I needed to be. We had good pace, and I think it bodes well for us tomorrow. If I don't jump a start, we're going to have some speed for him still.
Would you say Roger put any pressure on you at all?
Yeah, but like I said, you know, I didn't know he was so close, so that definitely gives me something to think about tomorrow. I was just racing against my pit board, quite honestly, so knowing that he was there, if he had shown me a wheel, maybe I'd known a little more, but that means we're going to have some fun tomorrow.
Always fun with Josh Hayes as the wave goes in. Yakking, that's what chatter is. Now I've got the real definition. And let's take a look at the results. Josh Hayes then with an excellent victory under big pressure. Roger Hayden putting it on, and obviously that 5 seconds. Martin Cardenas, though, taking third and keeps going forward. Josh Herron in fourth position. He'll be disappointed with that. How about KTM? Chris Fillmore, really impressive. Fifth place to beat Larry Pegram down to sixth place. Jeff May, likewise, getting that EBR. Really good result for them in seventh place. Danny Essling in the top 8. And David Anthony getting a very good result as well. Corey West, well, he was in a battle all the way through, manages to win up to 11th position. Further down, great to see finally EBR also getting Dustin Dominguez a result finally in 14th position. Chris Clark in 15th. Danny Kelson 16th place overall. Huntley Nash also given that 5-second penalty. He finishes 20th. Danielle?
In second place here today, the number 54, Roger Hayden. Roger, not a win, but you've got to be happy with the way you ran that race. You were right there on Josh for the entire race.
Yeah, it was a little confusing at the start because of the light, and I knew that I jumped, and you know, finally I seen the board where me and Josh both had +5, so I knew it was between me and him, and yeah, it was a good race. You know, the National Guard, I got to thank all the men and women there for all the support. My whole crew, you know, the first 2 races haven't been what we expected, but we bounced back today. It's a little bittersweet to be that close to a win and get second, but we're up there, and you know, if we keep knocking on the door, eventually it'll open. So you know, we have another race tomorrow, and looking forward to it.
So what are you going to take away from this race for tomorrow's race?
You know, just a few areas where I thought Josh was better than me, and a couple places I struggled with the bike, like in the back, going in, it was backing in a little bit, but same tires, everything was pretty good, so just massage it a little bit, try to, you know, we're close, we just got to get a little bit better.
Congratulations, Roger Hayden with second place.
Good job done by Roger Hayden. That's a good result for him on the 54. And in terms of the points here at Barber, after race 1, Cardenas still leads on that Suzuki with 126 points. Herron now in second place, 16 behind. But Josh Hayes now moves to third place ahead of Larry Pegram in fourth and Roger Hayden in fifth. Danny Essling still in the top 6. Chris Fillmore now 61 points adrift on KTM, and that's good news for that team. David Anthony right where he wants to be in the top 10. So good results and good races all through the pack, but slightly confusing, I'm sure, for the top men. Let's go down again with Danielle.
With number 36 of Martin Cardenas. Martin, a little bit of a confusing race. You weren't one of the ones penalized, and you ended up just running your own race, a solid third place. Congratulations.
Yeah, today race a little bit disappointing because I think I thought that I had the rhythm to stay with these 2 guys, but it wasn't possible. This race we have some a little bit setup problems, I think, but we're gonna try something for tomorrow and hopefully be up there with those guys.
I know you're a little disappointed with third place, but you are still in first place in the points.
Yeah, but it's really early in the season, so that doesn't really matter right now. The important thing right now is to have a better pace for the next race tomorrow and try to keep working the same for future races.
Well, they say time waits for no man, and certainly even despite that time penalty, Josh Hayes could not be stopped. For Scott Russell, Daniel Teal, and the entire crew, I'm Jonathan Green. For scores, highlights, features, and more, go to cbssports.com. This has been a presentation of Chet Burke's Production, the 24-hour home of CBS Sports.